And Carson Wentz will show you the floor, and you think you've seen it, and then he'll go back on the field and he'll lower that floor.
Would it surprise you to learn that Wentz's EPA per play is actually higher than Justin Herbert's for the season?
That's crazy.
Suck on that one. Yeah, they can score points. They're also giving up the 30th most per game out of 32 teams in the league. And let's look at who they've beaten.
I tried to hide those defensive stats, Jonah.
Who have
I
the
tried
Cowboys
to bury
beaten?
those. We'll talk more about the Jets in a second, but
No, we won't.
A fun fact.
Go, baby.
This one is going to blow your minds. Do you know that current Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers used to play for the Green Bay Packers?
Get out of town. You talking about the Jets quarterback?
Yeah, the Jets quarterback.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to No Timeouts, a football show coming at you from the Score Studio. My name is Jonah Birenbaum. That is Tyler MacKillop. That is Zak McDonald. You know them. You love them. Unfortunately, our man Dan Wilkins could not be here today, but we soldier on without him.
It's a crime to football that he's not here.
And we can
It
tell
sure
everybody we're
is.
from Canada. We can just tell
Yeah,
everybody we're from Canada.
Absolutely.
Dan's not here to
Sorry,
get
Will.
upset
Probably
about it.
wondering why
Breaking
he's wearing a Blue
news.
Jays jersey. It's because the Blue Jays, for the first time in 32 years, are American League champions. That deserves to be recognized. Shout out to the Toronto Blue Jays. Looking to slay baseball's Goliath, the Los Angeles Dodgers in the World Series, but I digress. As for Wilk, yeah, maybe he's like reevaluating his life after watching the Raiders get pumped 31-0 by the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. I wouldn't blame him. Anyways, gents, Week 7 was weird. Week 7 was at times wild. The Cincinnati Bengals, now led by Joe Flacco, defeated the Pittsburgh Steelers for their first win since Week 2 when Joe Burrow was still playing, at least partially. The Green Bay Packers only narrowly defeated the Arizona Cardinals and the Denver Broncos. They erased a shocking 19-point deficit with a 33-point fourth quarter to steal a win from the New York Giants. T, what stood out to you over the course of this kind of strange week of football?
Yeah, having to watch Carson Wentz play quarterback for an NFL team for yet another season. I really don't understand what's going on in Minnesota because when it comes to, you look at the way they approach the offseason, it's like, okay, we're going to let Sam Darnold walk. We've got a little bit more money we can spend on to plug in these positions. We think we have some issues, mainly on the offensive line. And we've got this two dynamic wide receivers to get the ball to. And for some reason, we're still not comfortable playing J.J. McCarthy. I know he's the torn ACL, like he's on the shelf. He can't get all his work in the offseason that you would expect or while he's on the shelf. But I would think that when we're talking like footwork, fundamentals, playbook, those are the kind of things he could have spent the offseason and last season like learning, watching, getting comfortable. Like when you go to your backup quarterback, there are a lot of teams that are like, we're not going to play the young guy because we feel this veteran backup gives us a floor that we're looking for. He might not have the ceiling, but he can give us the floor. And Carson Wentz will show you the floor, and you think you've seen it, and then he'll go back on the field and he'll lower that floor.
The core of the earth with Carson Wentz.
I don't really get it. There's no upside ceiling we've seen from Wentz in the last couple of years. But he's just learning to find a new floor. And when you're a team like this that expects to be competing, this is not the guy you trot out there. Like, you need to just play J.J. McCarthy. Ride the run game, see what J.J. can give you in actual game action because you've taken this risk in the way you've constructed your roster. You need to buy into it. I really am not getting it here.
Here's the thing. I mean, I think if you ask the Vikings publicly whether this is true or not, they will say that he's still injured, and that's why he's not playing right now.
Yeah, they probably will. You're right.
And I don't know if that's the case, but what I do know of the case is that Kevin O'Connell has earned the benefit of the doubt. Because not only has he been great, and also you want to talk about, they have Carson Wentz as like the quarterback, and that you talked about them letting Sam Darnold go. How about letting Daniel Jones walk? Maybe that was
could have been really
mistake,
easy to get
right?
Daniel Jones. Yeah,
they easily could have paid Daniel Jones a salary that he would have come back to the Vikings for, especially if they promised him. That's why they didn't promise him. That's why he left. They didn't promise him a real shot at competing for the starting quarterback position, which I think maybe was a mistake with them. But the thing with Kevin O'Connell and J.J. McCarthy, when he played, he basically had one good quarter, right? One electric quarter. Everything else was bad. Kevin O'Connell's specialty is working with fractured quarterbacks. His specialty is when your mental state is at its weakest, and he knows because he was a struggling quarterback in the NFL.
But are you about to call Carson Wentz fractured?
No, I'm saying J.J. McCarthy might be fractured.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because he spent a whole year injured. That's really tough to come back from. He comes in, has a lot of struggles. I think Kevin O'Connell knows what his mental state is. I think he's looking at this week saying, we're on a short week. I'm not going to insert him back into the starting lineup, have him do all of the work by Thursday. I'm just going to go and wait. He understands how the quarterback mind works, and I think that's maybe why JJ's on the bench.
It's so weird because I feel like we talked about, mentioned Daniel Jones. I think it's a good point, or Darnold. Were they so confident in playing him this year out the like right off the bat that a guy like Daniel Jones is like, well, we can't promise you. Like, we're starting JJ. You don't get the job in week 1. It's probably not happening. But then at the same time, here we are. He's hurt. And they don't want to go back to him. Like, where was the real? What was
weird.
Which one was it?
It's weird because they had Darnold because they were okay with sitting him for a year. So if you're okay with sitting him for a year, why not 2 years? Like, why not go the whole Packers route?
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. It's one thing when you're backing up Aaron Rodgers. It's another when, you're backing up Daniel Jones or whoever it might be.
Yeah. Who we knew Daniel Jones to
my
be.
point is that you're saying there's no floor, and I might quibble with that. They've gone 2-2 with Wentz.
Yeah, but
right?
I mean,
they're a 500 team right now. Would it surprise you to learn that Wentz's EPA per play is actually higher than Justin Herbert's for the season?
That's crazy.
Suck on that one.
That's
and
crazy.
Moreover, get this. Out of the 40 quarterbacks, listen to this. Out of the 40 quarterbacks with at least 50 dropbacks this year, J.J. McCarthy's, albeit in 2 games, is 39th out of 40. It's lower than Cam Ward's. I mean, look, obviously a 2-game sample that shouldn't be informing big decisions about long-term, quarterback situations or anything like that, but it was a pretty uninspired start. And
for sure.
If they think they can sneak into the playoffs as a wildcard team with Carson Wentz, I don't know.
Their schedule's tough. And,
it is. It does get much tougher.
And because Dan talked about this a lot, it just, I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You just can't reach your ceiling.
This was supposed to be a season of like renewal and promise for Minnesota. It doesn't feel like that right now. But let's move on. T.
I'm Zach.
I'm on no sleep.
That's
no
fine.
sleep. Z, what do you got from week 7?
How about the Broncos having one of the greatest fourth quarter comebacks of all time? It started, they're down 19-0.
19 points.
Heading into the fourth quarter. And it just looked like it was over. It was like the Jackson Dart coronation game, which is like feels like it's happened.
The latest one.
The third time already this
exactly.
year. It's like, when are we going to start believing in Jackson Dart fully? But you have Stranad. He gets the huge interception off of Jackson Dart, which is like, hey, rookie quarterbacks are going to throw picks. It was like on a third down. He was trying to make a play. After that, they go and score, but then it seems like it's all over again because the Giants come back and Dart does a really good job of responding on the next drive. They get, honestly, one of the worst pass interference calls on the sidelines as they're going down the field. Terrible, terrible call. So bad that Sean Payton comes onto the field and argues the call and gets hit with an unsportsmanlike penalty conduct, which a team is driving to try and win the game and they get a pass interference call and an unsportsmanlike from the coach, that is 99.9 infinite time the reason why you lose that game and how you settle it all. But they get a massive stroke of luck. The Giants are on their backup kicker. He misses the PAT, which gives them the opportunity to come back. Bo Nix comes out and like, my dad, I think at like the end of the third quarter, sent me a text to like the group chat just being like, Bo Nix is the worst quarterback I've ever seen in my life. This guy sucks. I absolutely hate him. He comes in the fourth quarter, looks absolutely amazing, throws a pass to Denzel Mims on a comeback in the middle of the field. You can't barely tell which guy he's trying to throw to, but Mims makes an incredible catch, and then he hits Courtland Sutton again on the sidelines over on the other side of the field. They go and kick the field goal to win the game. 33 fourth quarter points. Teams losing by 18 or more points in the fourth quarter had 1 win and 3,677 losses. It's the most fourth quarter points ever after being shut out in the first 3 quarters. Bo Nix, 4 TDs.
That's wild.
In 1 quarter. And also, can I say one more thing? One more thing. Before the game, they honored Demaryius Thomas.
Yeah.
A lot of like beautiful moments there. He passed away at the age of 33. They scored 33 points in the fourth quarter. So really
That's
cute
the universe.
There. Yeah,
That's the universe.
Exactly.
I was going to come after you for being like, there's not a hyperbole you will ever shy away from, and like calling this, the greatest fourth quarter comeback ever. I was like, that is typical Zach. But you know what? You have laid out a very strong case there, and I can't remember who it was that said coming into week 7 they needed a show me game from Bo Nix and the Broncos. Was that Wilk?
I think it was Dan. Yeah.
Does it? I mean, I'll let you speak on his behalf. Was this a show me game for Bo Nix and the Broncos?
I don't think so at all. I mean,
Yeah.
you take 3 of those quarters, and when I look at the matchup of the 2 teams, it's like there's so many great matchup advantages for Denver. It's like you have maybe one of the best offensive lines in the league to shut down that pass rush of the Giants and potentially hit those explosive plays that everybody's been hitting against the Giants all year and been able to run the ball at will. And they were doing none of that for 3 quarters. very frustrating for this Broncos team. Has just so many different levels week in and week out.
Yeah.
It's hard to really get a read on them and where they stack up in the rest of the AFC.
And that Bo Nix text that my dad sent is the Bo Nix experience. You are going to feel like he's the worst quarterback. Like he's not the guy at certain times. And then there's other times where you are going to feel like, oh my God, this is like a playoff, like deep playoff run.
Which,
team.
to be fair, I feel like that is the typical experience for a quarterback. Unless you have like one of the 6 or 7 or 8 best quarterbacks in the league, it's like it is a land of contrast watching your quarterback play. But let's move on. You got some Monday Night Football takeaways.
Yeah, Monday night was. These were 2 big games. I wanted to make sure we touched on them, and I think I learned a lot from this Seattle and Houston game. I honestly thought, and hand up, this is a terrible thought to have before the season. I thought the Seahawks were the Walmart version of the Texans, basically. I thought these were 2 very similar teams, but one had what I thought was going to be a little bit worse quarterback play. You look at Seattle and Houston, they're both 2 teams with offensive lines that I wasn't very high on going into the year. Seattle's definitely stepped up and looked a whole lot better. And obviously, I thought they were going to have great defenses and really good pass rushes. But the Texans, I mean, Nick Caley.
Yeah.
Like,
Tough
what are we doing? We're in the 4th quarter. The Seahawks just still aren't pulling away because your defense is getting you turnover after turnover. And they had the what was it? Was it 3rd and short where they ran it twice when they could not move the ball at all on the ground all game?
They're the definition of uninspired, especially offensively.
Well,
they didn't throw the ball on either of those downs, and it felt so obvious that they needed to put the ball in the air. And then they're down 2 scores or two full scores now, and was it 2nd and goal from like the quarter-yard line, I would say, and they threw the ball twice, and then on 4th they finally decided to. They didn't even sneak. That felt like an obvious sneak spot. And they decided to run it, but they got called for a false start, and Woody Marks was going to be tackled well short of the goal line.
They can't run the ball. Those running backs are tough to watch.
They've been so messy.
And they got absolutely dominated in the first half, too. The score should have been a lot worse than it actually was. Sam Darnold is a really good NFL quarterback.
Making plays, man.
He has got there was a play that he made in the first half. Darnold kind of he hits a JSN who also is like JSN is like into the elite territory now. He just hits JSN like puts his hips perfectly, hits him straight down the field. Just really, really good quarterback. And the Texans, they've been bad for 2 years now. Yeah. They were bad last year too.
They're dead.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder to see them getting back to where they were in CJ Stroud's rookie season. Pretty precipitous drop-off that has really been sustained. Ugly situation. Did you have takeaways from Bucks Lions as well?
Bucks Lions, I wouldn't be too worried about the Bucks. I mean, there's only so long can you withstand not having your top receivers to throw to. And it looks like Mike Evans' absence might be for a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
But again, this is why, and again, I give so much credit to this organization in terms of they see Chris Godwin and Mike Evans potentially on, the latter half downturn of their careers. They go get a MacKillop, who's obviously awesome. I'm surprised he played this week. But then they also, Jalen McMillan is sitting in the wings. He's got this neck injury. I really hope he comes back because he was good at the end of last year. Mm-hmm. I know if Evans misses a lot of time, they've still got Igbuka. Jalen McMillan can be back. Tez Johnson's kind of balling a little bit. You can get the ball to Cade Otton more. Eventually, Bucky Irving will be here. Like I'm not too worried about the Bucs. I thought their run game, despite Gibbs going bananas, early on was actually pretty solid. Like Gibbs broke the big one, but on a down-to-down basis, they kind of do their thing. I would not be worried about the Bucs in this one. Detroit's just a damn good team.
I wouldn't be worried about the Bucs because the Detroit Lions defense played incredible in that game. Baker was trying everything that he could, but they had receivers blanketed all game. Like a lot of times they're doing like brackets on Igbuka where they have a guy behind, like in behind and a guy in front of him, and it's like they're just literally like Baker can fit it into any window. There is no window to fit it into.
Dude, Igbuka had 4 receptions on 12 targets, and Tez had 4 on 9. That is a testament to coverage right there.
You bring in Kelvin Shepherd, and not only does he have the energy that you see on the sidelines, he's also clearly scheming these guys really well, doing a better job than Aaron Glenn was doing last year. I said last week, my prove it game was I wanted to see the Lions win a really big game because they lost a couple of big games against the Chiefs and the Packers. They showed exactly what you need to see. It's like I can 100% see them lifting the Lombardi at the end of the year. Not to say they're the favorite, but I can see them lifting it for sure.
Totally. And they've struggled with the Bucs the last couple seasons too, as good as they've been. Zachy, one more takeaway from Week 7. What do you got?
One more takeaway. I got a big question for you, T-Mac. I got a question. I need you to answer this for me, okay? There was a huge trade earlier in the season. Micah Parsons got traded to the Green Bay Packers. Last piece in the Super Bowl contender. Take from this weaker team that's not going to do anything in the league. So my question is, are the Cowboys better than the Green Bay Packers right now? Let me give you some things to think about before you answer the question, please. The Cowboys are third in points per game in the NFL right now. They're first in yards per game. They're seventh in third down rate. They're eighth in red zone scoring. Meanwhile, the Packers struggled to beat Jacoby Brissett and the Arizona Cardinals. They lost to the Cleveland Browns. The Packers barely stuck by the Bengals with Joe Flacco. The game was 24-18 with 4 minutes left. I tried to look up some Cowboys defensive stats and my computer kind of broke down, so I don't have those offhand for you. I'm sure those are very good. And if you can't remember, they tied. These two teams tied 40-40. So somewhere is Jerry Jones rubbing his hands together as CeeDee Lamb comes back to the lineup and the Cowboys become a better team than the Green Bay Packers.
In short, no, but I do think that I think that the Cowboys are a team we just know exactly who they are, and when a George Pickens CeeDee Lamb combo is
crazy.
I mean, I don't know how many there are better in the league right now.
And Ferguson too, but tight end 1 in fantasy football.
We knew that they would have a good passing offense, but
sure.
defense matters.
And Javonte Williams is running really well.
They can score points. They're also giving up the 30th most per game out of 32 teams in the league. And let's look at who they've beaten.
I tried to hide those defensive stats, Jonah.
Who have
I
the
tried
Cowboys
to bury
beaten?
those.
They've beaten the 2 New York teams and Washington. Okay, fine.
That was
Washington.
that was a great win against
legitimate.
the Commanders.
They lost to Carolina. Okay, can we end that conversation there?
Washington, I don't even know if they're legitimate anymore.
Yeah.
Carolina's 4-3, by the way. Isn't that the craziest thing in the NFL right
Sickening
now?
stuff.
The other thing that, if we take this to the Packers side of things, obviously the defense is going to be great all year.
Defense is awesome.
What are they going to do?
They still need some defensive back help on the defense.
It wasn't amazing throughout 4 quarters against Arizona.
No, for sure. But the thing that I'm really curious about is their best receiver on the team the guy they're probably going to end up dealing, because they're going to get Christian Watson back.
Yeah.
You know, you obviously have Golden, who still, like, we have not seen. I feel like they're forcing him the ball more than they are.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to create touches for him than him just getting open and making plays.
He seems out of sync with LaFleur's such a great play caller. He's such a good at putting his receivers in the right positions.
Well, they're getting designed handoffs, jet sweeps, like they're just forcing the ball to him. But you're going to get
sync with
Watson
the
back.
concepts.
Jaden Reed's going to be back at some point. You paid Christian Watson too. Like, Romeo Doubs might be their number 1 guy, and there's a chance they just deal him because they don't have space for him. Like, they're still missing the alpha number 1 option
100%.
that I think holds this team back still. Because for Love, he's a guy that really likes to push the ball down the field, and they just don't have that guy right now. And Christian Watson has never proven to be able to stay on the field long enough to really see over a long sample size if he can be that number 1. I don't think.
And they need a guy with a physical presence, because even if you look at the way that Love works with Tucker Kraft, who, like, Tucker Kraft is. I know Jonah says I am the hyperbole king. I am 100%. Tucker Kraft is, like, in that very upper echelon of, like, elite tight ends in the NFL right now. They had a I can't remember. I think it was a 4th down. I think they went out for the field goal, came back out, and it was like Jordan Love had to find a guy, and he was locked in on Tucker Kraft before the game started because he knows that's his
safety blanket.
Guy who has a physical advantage over the players that he's against. And like you said, that alpha receiver, they need a guy who has a physical advantage, who has strength, not only that can go over the top, but that can dominate a corner or a safety.
Yeah, they desperately need it. Their longest completion against Arizona was 22 yards. They're not breaking those big plays. No. They're not taking the top off. And it's, I think, like, one of the last things holding them back from really realizing the elite Super Bowl contending potential that we all talked about coming into the season. Great stuff, gentlemen.
3 sacks for Micah Parsons,
of course,
by the way, and he had a really dominant game and was a big reason why they won.
Particularly in the second half. Yes. So, boys, our man Dan Wilkins, as you folks may or may not know, you should know by this point, he is responsible for the weekly NFL power rankings that you can find on The Score. That's a must read. And since he is irreplaceable, gentlemen, irreplaceable, I'm not going to ask you guys to fill in and provide your power rankings through week 7. Rather, I'm going to flip it. I want to hear your guys' reverse power rankings, by which I mean, I want to know who you guys think, as we approach the halfway point in the season, the 5 worst teams in the NFL. This is reverse power rankings. Zach, you're up first.
Well, as a Jets fan, there's nothing I know more than bad football. I can't tell you what good football is. I can tell you when a team sucks. And we're going to start at number 28. Here's a team that sucks. The New Orleans Saints. They are not at 32, though. Spencer Rattler, he leads the league in turnover-worthy plays. He had a horrible game against the Bears. But if you search Spencer Rattler's name on Twitter the day before this game started, there are a lot of people being like, is Spencer Rattler like kind of good, like the 25th best quarterback in the league? I think he might be that.
Sure.
I think that. Which is like we're talking about the 5 worst teams in the NFL, right?
Yeah.
I think Kellen Moore is a really good offensive coach. He dialed up some big plays for Olave, who had 2 touchdowns in the game. They did that lateral that got called back, which I absolutely loved. So I think they have a good coach. I think that is what separates them from the rest of the teams on the list.
Who you got at 28?
28 for me is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. I don't care that you competed with the Packers this week. This team, that poor fan base. This team shows up to State Farm, and I mean, they lost to the worst team in the NFL. They lost at home to the Titans. You get to be in the bottom 5 solely because of that. I kind of really hate this team because there's a lot of like what if and potential and like, do I think this guy's good? Do I think he's not when it comes to Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr., and the crew?
Are they better with Jacoby Brissett at quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, we're at this point where this roster, like, they need a change in leadership at coach, probably need a change in leadership at quarterback, and I'm kind of tired of them.
I see parallels between them and the Houston Texans, where it's like, you got a pretty intriguing guy at quarterback, you got some weapons in the offense, and yet this team just has nothing going for it. They're not coherent. They just can't find ways to win. Yeah. I like that call. Who do you got at 29, Zach?
I have, to Jonah's point, I am and always will be a prisoner of the moment. And I am putting I almost said Oakland Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Oakland got no teams anymore, man. Devastating.
R.I.P. Oakland. That game that they played against the Chiefs, that was just a complete undressing. The Chiefs, I think, had more points than they had first downs in the game. Anytime you're playing the Chiefs and you've got Gardner Minshew on the field by the third quarter, you absolutely suck. Pete Carroll is a dinosaur. Chip Kelly's a dinosaur. Geno Smith sucks without the shield of a really competent staff in Seattle. Hate the Raiders.
It was so funny because it was like Jim Nantz and Tony Romo calling that game, and like by the second or third, they're like looking for like diplomatic ways to be like, this team sucks. But they're masters of their craft. They found a way to do it. Who do you have at 29?
Yeah, I didn't put.
You didn't put the Raiders.
They beat the Patriots, right? Week 1, they beat the Patriots.
The AFC East winning New England Patriots.
Yeah. I mean, oh my gosh.
You're getting emotional.
Tyler,
I understand it.
Yeah, this is what the Raiders will bring this to. This is Wilkie.
I think that is Wilk right there. He's not with us, but he's with us in spirit, causing our man to choke up.
I think the Raiders have some good pieces that I'm excited about. I know right now they're playing like the worst team in the league, but I think they're outside the bottom 5 in terms of talent. But I'm going to put the Saints at 29. I think that they played better than what we thought was the worst team in the NFL going into the year, though.
Fair enough. Zach, 30.
So I'm guessing we have the 3 same teams here at the end.
You do. Not the same order. But
not the same order, no. I'm going to put the Dolphins at number 30. The only reason I have them above the other 2 teams is because they seem like prime candidates for like a solid little run with an interim head coach. You know, like
disagree.
They bring in a new guy and it's like, oh, Mike McDaniel's not here anymore. Like we're going to like play our guts out for like 4 games. But
we're going to trade everyone and nobody will be left.
Yeah, that's also very possible.
The more I watch of the Dolphins, the more I'm convinced it's coaching may or may not be an issue, but this is a Tua Tagovailoa issue. Yeah. This is a defensive lack of talent issue. They're just a complete mess. Yeah, I don't know if a new head coach can inspire anything out of this group of players.
That's why I'm going to do a really dumb thing that nobody will agree with. I'm going to put the Jets at 30.
Okay.
Even though the Jets and the Dolphins did play a couple weeks ago, if you want to forget that Monday night game, a lot of people probably would like to.
The Jets got crushed by the Dolphins.
I think if these teams played again right now, Jets would win.
Who would be the Jets quarterback if they played right now?
Hopefully Tyrod Taylor.
Hopefully Tyrod Taylor. That is a bleak statement.
Because I think that they would. The Dolphins have been getting just demolished on the ground. Actually, maybe Justin Fields would be good. Well, he hasn't run the ball all that well.
I want you to start pulling up some game and 40s of the New York Jets for the next couple of days, T-Mac. I want to see how you feel.
I wouldn't wish that on anybody.
Them.
Even a condensed version of the Jets is intolerable. Zach, who do you have at 31?
We'll talk more about the Jets in a second, but
no, we won't.
At 31, I have the Tennessee Titans.
Yeah.
They technically won a game this year against the Arizona Cardinals. One of the worst wins possibly in the history of the NFL. this team. I have no analysis. They just are they're just not a real football team. They're just bad at everything.
Yeah, you really thought that, with Cam Ward coming on board, like there would be signs, glimmers of hope, but it has been bleak. They're already onto their second head coach. Messy stuff. Who you got at 31?
Yeah, when you look at who they draft wise of like Isle Manor, DK, Ward, maybe they should have just gone to some other positions because their just roster isn't ready. I'm gonna go with the Dolphins. I said I think that the Jets would beat the Dolphins if they played again right now. The Dolphins are an awful team, bad vibes, bad roster, bad everything.
I would put Dolphins at 32 in vibes for sure. But the Jets are the worst team in the league. They're 0-7. They haven't won a game. They can't win a game. I am cursed to watch them every single week. I watch the full 3-hour feed. It's always on the second screen. I do sound for something else.
Yeah.
But in Justin Fields, last 2 games, 6 of 12, 42 yards passing. 9 of 17, 45 yards passing. That is an NFL football team. That is what they're doing. Jonathan Taylor alone has had more three touchdown games than the Jets have had this entire season. They're so inept on offense. It is sort of unbelievable coming from somebody who's watched the Jets for the past 25 years.
Maybe they will fire Aaron Glenn, guys. Maybe they will.
Yeah.
I kind of forget that they're 0-7. Remember week 1 of the season when they scored all those points?
They played a really entertaining game.
That was one of the most fun games of the year. That's classic Jets football.
But yeah, Titans are the last team for me.
I don't think you need to go any further.
It's like, what am I going to
They're 14.5-point underdogs to the Colts this weekend, if you guys haven't seen that yet.
That's the thing about this exercise. What am I going to sit here and argue that the Titans don't suck?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, gentlemen, for diving into the toilet with me. I wouldn't want to deal with anybody else, which brings us.
I think we need a cleanser.
Yeah, we sure do. Brings us to our 2-minute drill. Take it away, Zach.
Okay, I got a little 2-minute drill for you. Do we have a clock back there? No clock. All right, we don't need a clock.
We're clockless.
Can you give me do you have your phone on you, Jonah?
Yeah, let's go.
Can you give me 2 minutes?
Sure.
We're going to do the 2-minute drills. We're going to ask some questions. T-Mac, I got a little crazy with this one. We're going a little out of bounds. Some really weird questions here.
Guy Fieri style.
All right, look, can you hit that timer?
Yeah, and in 3, 2, 1, go.
Okay, T-Mac, should we ban the tush push?
No. Brian Flores. You did something. The league better follow suit. That was nice.
I love that. Who wins more Super Bowls? Patrick Mahomes and the Belichick Patriots, or Tom Brady and the Andy Reid Chiefs?
Oh, what a question. Well, it turns out Bill Belichick is a Tom Brady merchant, so I'm gonna have to go Andy Reid.
Brady on the Chiefs.
Yeah, and Brady.
Next question. The government, worried by dwindling fandom of the Carolina Panthers, offers you $1,000 a month for the rest of your life to become a full-time fan of the team. Do you accept this deal?
Who? What are the details of full-time
you gotta wear shirts. If you
gotta watch the games.
You gotta watch every single game. You have to tell people you're a Panthers fan. Can't bring up the Chargers.
Part of your identity.
Can't be on the message board. Nothing.
$1,000 a week?
month.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Chargers fan. They're never going to win a Super Bowl. Give me the $1,000.
That is the right answer. Sam Darnold is equipped with the ability to throw just as well with his left arm as his right arm. Does this turn him into a top 3 QB instantly?
Who?
Have we ever had an ambidextrous quarterback?
I don't think we ever have.
There's no way.
I don't think it would. I think making the decisions, that doesn't matter, like who to throw to, even with your ambidextrous arms. I don't think it makes him. Would you say top what?
3.
Yeah, no.
All right. If you swapped Joe Flacco for Matt Stafford, are the Rams a playoff team?
Absolutely not. Please do not get so lost in one Joe Flacco game where
Sean
he throws
McVay
a
is
billion
really good.
slants and like the air, like he throws a ball and the thing just looks like it's in the air for like 17 seconds before it just slowly lands into the hands of Jamar Chase.
10 seconds.
Okay, got to pick a good one. Mike McDaniel gets fired Monday morning. You are hired as head coach of the Dolphins and given his play sheet. You have to call plays. Do the Dolphins score a single point?
No. I pretend to know ball. I don't know.
There you go. 2-minute drill.
Right.
Imagine trying to scheme up that offensive line to do something for
You just got to call. You just got to like read it off the sheet. You know what I mean?
You've played Madden before.
Yeah.
Play
Halfback,
calling is
halfback
not that
slip
hard.
screen. 4 verts. Corner strike.
Yeah, and just rage quit if things don't go your way.
I think the ambidextrous quarterback is underrated. I think that could be
but you
revisited.
have to
Right,
like
rolling
the
left,
only way
yeah.
to like.
Can you imagine he's
realize
about
that's-
to get sacked and he just like can toss it like perfectly
Yeah, but
sidearm?
does he throw it perfect? Like, does he get it to the guy? That would be the question.
Yeah.
And I feel like your ball security would become a huge issue because you're potentially
yeah, like-
transferring the ball mid-play.
that's a good
I don't
factor.
know that would actually be a value add, but what do I know?
It's a good factor.
That's
why we asked T-Mac the questions.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of which, T-Mac,
Yeah, I've
you
got
some something for us.
Yeah, third quarter. I'm excited to take like a broader look at the league, and what we're going to do is we're going to do some blind resumes. I'm going to show you the wins and losses for two teams. I want you guys to tell me based on their resume of who they've beaten and lost to this year, what team you think is better.
Love it.
And
All right.
don't spend too much time trying to figure out who the teams are. I just want you to look at what's in front of you.
You just want us
and
to
tell
feel
me.
this out.
Read
You want us
facts.
to vibe
Read
it
I
out.
got I got
Yeah,
three
yeah,
matchups
yeah.
here. Let's start with our first one. So Team A has beaten the Chiefs, Vikings, Buccaneers, Cowboys, and Rams. They've lost though to the Giants and Broncos.
Okay.
Team
Okay.
B, they've beaten the Titans, Bills, Saints, Dolphins, and Panthers, but they've lost to the Steelers and Raiders. What team do you think is better?
Team A.
Team
Unequivocally.
A, and like, there's not even a slight question. If you lost to the Raiders, you suck.
Okay.
The Raiders.
We're all in on that. All right, let's reveal the teams. Those teams are Team A is the Eagles, and Team B is the Patriots.
Wow, honestly, this makes
Wow.
me feel very differently about the Patriots.
Exactly. When I
Yeah.
went through this, I'm like, guys, we've given the Eagles so much hate. Like, I feel like we did this last year too, but this is an Eagles team that's beaten a lot of teams we think are good and respect. And
The Patriots have beaten a bunch of soup cans.
have beaten some bad teams.
Yeah, they beat the Bills, but those division games are always weird. But outside of that, they have not only not beaten another good opponent, they have exclusively beaten bad opponents.
Correct. I think that's telling when we look at, how you feel about the Patriots when it comes to winning the division and being a playoff team. Are they at that type of level? I feel like we don't know yet because the Bills and Pats consistently play a very tight or split. Have been splitting the season pretty consistently.
It's so funny how quickly we get ahead of our skis with teams because at one point earlier in the season it was like, oh, the Patriots kind of suck again, and then they had some big wins, and then now it's like they're like going to win the Super Bowl, and it's like maybe they're just like pretty good and like progressing on a nice path.
Yeah. And I think Drake May's MVP odds have exploded now, but
Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, look, you can only play against the team you're playing against.
Correct.
You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
not to take away what he's
100%.
done, but definitely it reframes the Patriots' success so far.
Exactly.
What else?
All
Another
right,
one?
Let's go to our next one here. We've got Team A has beaten the Cowboys, Saints, Commanders, and Raiders. Losses to the Lions and Vikings. Team B has beaten the Jets, Ravens, Saints, and Dolphins, with losses to the Falcons and Patriots.
So Team A has taken care of business against the teams that they should take care of business against. The Lions one, I'm lost. I don't care about that. Vikings loss is like, the other team, the Ravens suck. And they've
currently
lost.
constructed.
They've lost to the Falcons and the Patriots. So Jonah, who do you think who's your pick right now?
Team A. Team A is the better team. They've lost to like a good team, a maybe okay team, and they've exclusively beaten mid teams. At best, the Cowboys are mid. The other ones are bad, and I think the Commanders are also mid.
The Cowboys and Commanders.
Whereas
might be,
Team B hasn't beaten a good team.
let's say
right?
the Cowboys and Commanders might be the two best wins on this entire
sure.
board. So I would go with Team A as well.
Okay, do you guys have any thoughts of who these teams are off the top of your head before I reveal them?
No, go.
All right, I'm excited for you guys to see this. Team A is the
Wow.
Bears.
Wow.
Team B is the Bills.
Wow.
Where are we at here with Chicago?
Okay. Now, to be fair, so the Bills did beat the Ravens in week 1 when Lamar was playing.
Correct.
But man, losing to the Falcons is tough.
Losing to the Patriots.
But I want to ask you guys, are you taking more of from this about the Bills or the Bears?
Definitely
I feel
the
like
Bills.
you've got to start
No,
thinking about the Bears in a different.
No, the Bears.
bit of a
The Bears
different
are
light.
not good. Look, they've the best team that they've played, they lost against. The second best team that they played, I think, maybe they lost against. Really no victories that are inspiring confidence that they're good.
For sure.
And the Bills have, I guess, one of those.
But I think the fact that you look at the Bears and see that they lost to basically the two teams that were better than them and they are beating these teams that are not good, I think what it does say is there's a genuine culture shift happening in Chicago where they're not blowing games that they should be blowing. And I think Ben Johnson is doing a really incredible job. I'm just not the biggest Caleb Williams guy, but I think it makes me feel a lot better about the Bears. The Bills,
Yeah.
I think the Bills will turn it around by the time the end of the season comes around. We won't be talking about this, but...
Yeah, I thought this was a great one.
Yeah,
Great
that
one,
was a
great
good one.
Great one.
All right, our last one here.
Last one.
All right, so Team A.
I'm not getting tricked this time.
Team A has wins over the Giants, Chargers, and Raiders with losses to the Falcons, Cowboys, Packers, and Bears. Team B has beaten the Browns, Jaguars, and Steelers, losses to the Vikings, Lions, Packers, and Broncos. What team do you guys think is better?
Team B's definitely had the harder schedule.
I think win over the Chargers is impressive.
Depends on what version.
Chargers can't.
The Chargers earlier in the season looked really, really good.
That's what I mean. Depends on what version.
Yeah. Win over the Giants, that could be a really bad win. Like when they had Russell Wilson, that might not mean anything.
Yeah, I feel like beating the Jags and Steelers is probably more impressive than any of the wins that Team A has, with the exception of maybe the Chargers.
I'm going Team A.
I'm going Team B. I think Team B's having the stronger season.
Okay. Any inclination of who these teams might be?
No.
Well, it's got to be AFC West versus NFC North, right?
No.
Oh, really?
No. These teams are Team A is the Washington Commanders, and Team B is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Interesting.
The Commanders suck, guys. They suck.
They might suck. Yeah, they might suck.
They did play without Jaden Daniels for a while.
They're injury riddled right now
Yeah.
in a major way. They lost all of those.
Yeah, the receivers.
Eckler and McLaurin and Debo Samuel, who's actually like playing pretty well this year.
Maybe I'm okay. Maybe
Signing all those old guys was the stupidest thing you possibly could have done with your franchise.
Speaking of old guys, I might be Flacco pilled, but if he can just be like cromulent for the next few weeks, how much longer is Joe Burrow out for?
Oh, I
more
think
months?
there's an outside chance he doesn't play at all.
Really?
Yeah, I think
just
there's
gotta
a
get
try to
fans
He's
on
do
the
going to come back
severity.
late in the season.
That's what they projected. Like whenever
If they're in a
talked about
spot
it.
for him to come back,
I
he
think
might
there's
come
a
back.
chance they could be in a spot.
3
I
or
don't
4
know.
gets them. Yeah, 3. I mean, this is a division that's in a spot where there's potential of sticking around, right? Because you've got obviously the Ravens being where they're at, and then the Steelers and the Browns. So there's an outside chance. I feel like we at this point we get Joe Flacco games.
Yes.
But those might be hard to come by.
Yeah.
We'll see how that kind of
Especially
continues.
over long term. It's like Flacco can have a 3-game run, but he's not going to do it for 12 games.
Exactly, yeah. And this offensive line's pretty bad, but he manages to make it happen anyways. But the other side of things is like you're probably not going to run the ball that well week in and week out after the way you ran it against the Steelers. But that is our blind resumes. That was
Hell of a
great.
job,
I mean,
That was a great game. That was
tough.
That was a
tough.
great game.
Really made us think about things, and I appreciate that about you.
I'm
All
glad I
right.
didn't guess the teams. It wasn't too obvious. I thought the
No, nice
Bills
one.
were-
That
I
was
had no
great.
idea.
That was
I
great.
had no idea.
Beautiful. Before we go home, let's talk a little bit about Week 8. 6 teams on bye this week, including the Lions, Rams, Seahawks. It's not the juiciest.
I'm not inspired
week
by
of
this
football. Yeah, you'll see all season, but there are still some decent matchups.
It's going to be like we're going to have the most bits ever on like the show next week. It's going to be like the
I'm down for a like exclusively bit episode
yeah.
or show for that matter. Like,
Yeah,
we don't have
yeah,
to talk about football. Seriously, T, what is the game you're most looking forward to this week?
We talked about both these teams, but Cowboys Broncos I think is one of the better games of the week when you look at it.
Yeah.
Here's another test for the Cowboys offensively against a Broncos defense that's just been dialing it up when it comes to pressuring opposing quarterbacks. But if they're healthy up front on the offensive line, the Broncos are a team that play a ton of man coverage. If you're placing bets on this game, whatever it might be, keep that in mind because CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens are 2 of the best man beaters in terms of how they beat coverage in the entire NFL. So that's going to be a very tough assignment for the Broncos defensively. And then on the other side is like, well, let's take that fourth quarter and bring it into a matchup where you, again, are supposed to put up some points for Denver. Because offensively, they need to get more consistent here if they want to be treated as, well, they're the first number 1 seed in the AFC West at the moment. So a good test here for them.
Straight pick 'em in that game. Who are you taking?
Is this game at The Broncos are at home in this game?
I think the Broncos are at home.
It would be, to me, I would take the home team.
Okay.
I think it's
it's the Broncos. I have them listed second, so it's making me think that they're probably second.
This is a toss-up game for sure.
Zach, what do you got?
I have the Giants and the Eagles. A rematch, obviously, of that game a couple of weeks ago where Jackson Dart had the first of his 3 coming out parties.
Yeah.
That was sort of their real big showing. I think they had 45 points against the Giants. And also the Eagles are wearing the Kelly Greens, which is that's must-watch TV anytime the Eagles bust those out. I think this game will not go the way of the Giants. I don't think that they're going to be able to beat the Eagles twice, especially the Eagles. I don't understand how the Eagles do this. They go from having an offense that literally can't throw the forward pass to Jalen Hurts has 387 yards and 4 TDs, and they almost have 2 receivers with 200 yards on the week. I don't understand what the difference is between those 2 weeks, but
sneaky. The thing is too is with when are we going to get the Saquon Barkley game?
Yeah, honestly.
Yeah. When's it going to happen?
Gosh, his workload was so enormous last year. You had to imagine there was going to be some kind of regression, some kind of Super Bowl hangover, and maybe that's just what they're dealing with offensively as a group. I don't know.
Yeah, it's puzzling. It's definitely
It is puzzling.
So, what was the last game I had there?
49ers and Texans.
Yeah,
real slop fest. Man, the bar is low this week.
49ers Texans is the 3rd game that we mentioned.
I'll be honest. I thought that the Texans, going into Monday,
you thought they were going to win.
You thought they were
going to
like
beat the
This
Seahawks.
was a production meeting issue.
Yeah.
But San Francisco's also just defensively been really, really steady. I thought the Nick Bosa absence would really affect them, but again, defensively they're very, very good against
Robert
Atlanta.
Saleh is incredible at his job.
It's hard to come. Technically, when you look at the matchup, it's like Houston. This isn't a team that rushes the passer as well as Seattle. Hopefully, this is a little bit lighter for you of a matchup offensively. We can get the ball moving. But again, if Nico Collins, the injury there, hasn't missed time, it's very uninspiring. Their rookies in terms of Higgins and Noel haven't stepped up in a very big way. A guy like Xavier Hutchinson, who's been with the team for more than a few years, is someone they're leaning on too much. Do they get Brock Purdy back for San Francisco?
I was going to say, I think he's coming back. I think he needs to. Mac Jones has been playing a little too good. Not to say that they're going to replace him, obviously. They paid him that big contract. They can't do that. But Brock Purdy, just for his reputation around the league, time to come in and make some plays,
Yeah, I think Brock's, I definitely think Brock is safe. They're going to give him the ball back whenever he wants it. But CMC's been finally had that big game on the ground last week.
He finally broke through as a runner, which is obviously huge to see.
Tough to do behind this offensive line. They'll need him because, again, Houston's defense, we know, is still really, really good.
Zach, close it out.
The Green Bay Packers and the Pittsburgh Steelers play on Sunday night.
Yeah,
I've got a fun fact for you guys. Are you guys ready for this one? A fun fact.
Go, baby.
This one is going to blow your minds. Do you know that current Steelers quarterback Aaron Rodgers used to play for the Green Bay Packers?
Get out of town. You talking about the Jets quarterback?
Yeah, the Jets quarterback.
You kind of silenced us. Listen up to this one.
What are you anticipating there?
I think first of all, Aaron Rodgers, I really can't stand this guy. His outbursts that he was having against teams last week, I posted something about it online. People are like, that's just how you play real ball. You got to get mad at your guys, hold them accountable.
The offensive lineman tackling him, you're talking about?
And the fake flea flicker one as well, right? Because he cursed out the running back. I don't know if it was Gainwell or Caleb Johnson or Warren, whatever. He cursed him out in the middle of everybody too. It's just Aaron, just relax a little bit. You're the angriest guy to ever take a magic mushroom in the history of mankind.
Well, I think he probably felt like this is the team we need to beat because we got Green Bay this week, and I'm going to be in a tough spot here.
They're two good teams that could use a signature win. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers playing against Green Bay is going to be awesome. He's going to have some smarmy quotes throughout the whole week that are going to really juice up this game. I think the Packers are a much better team. I think that they'll win the game, but Aaron Rodgers can always be magic.
He's one of those guys where people will talk about a narrative of a player having a revenge game, and you're like, dude, no, that's not really an important point to make. That doesn't affect him. He's motivated in every game he plays. But Aaron's a guy that kind of is just no, this matters.
He was motivated against the Jets.
Yeah,
he threw for 4 touchdowns against them.
Exactly.
So you can only imagine how geared up he is to play the Packers, who traded him away.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, did you guys know that Jordan Love used to be Aaron Rodgers' backup?
No.
That story, not every pregame show, 19 times on the broadcast, pictures of them together.
I am very excited for that game. Very excited.
Yeah, it actually should be fun. I'm glad that you brought it home to close out that segment with one that's actually...
There's something good to look forward to.
Yeah, actually decently exciting. I'm decently excited. You're all decently excited. because that is the end of today's episode of No Timeouts. Once again, that's Zak McDonald. That's Tyler MacKillop. My name's Jonah Birenbaum. We'll see you next time.